You know what that song means? No. It just means I felt like doing something. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Nothing Out Loud.
Hi.
I was going to say my name. They know my name. I have the street title.
And he's apparently a nationalist. That's what he said last time.
That's right. We're going to get
But he's probably changed his mind between segments.
Yeah. Here, have you seen this?
GOP nominee for Pennsylvania governor, Doug Mastriano, still has not conceded the race. Many of his supporters believed God would intervene on his behalf, even though the race had already been called for his opponent, Josh Shapiro.
God did intervene. God's done.
He said no.
Just because it didn't end the way you wanted it to doesn't mean that God hasn't intervened yet. God intervened, and same with on you, Presley. God intervened.
You guys prayed. God said no. He's apt to do that. No, am I a nationalist? I was thinking about this the other day. All right, I don't know what you guys like. You hear like white nationalist. Okay, if you're a nationalist, you're all about your nation, right? But you can also have like nationalized systems. I like nationalized systems. I'd like people go, oh, you know, having the government in control, or whatever. It's like, do you guys have any idea how much money you guys would have if our, say, oil and natural resources were nationalized? We'd all just have money. Money would be, we wouldn't think about it.
So that's not communism at all.
No.
The government owns
some countries.
the means of production.
Well, I was thinking about it because Iran nationalized their oil, and the United States and England were like, fucked them up for it, right? So if you guys think like the corporations running, you know, oil and national resources and stuff, if you think that that's the way to go, just, you know, shut the fuck up next time you got to fill your car up with gas because you can't afford it. It's like, dude, we'd all have so much money. Think about it. Alaskans, you're nationalists. You're like, you're statists. Like you get paid by the government to live in Alaska because of the natural resources that are extracted. Why shouldn't that all be our thing? Don't we own
Why shouldn't I get paid for being on Facebook? Because my name is being used for them to advertise.
Right. Or like
Facebook is right up the street.
Like with Twitter. Like with
Elon Musk, why can't I get money for Twitter?
Charging for the check mark.
And for I don't know, YouTube, Adobe.
Well, I mean, you would just get a check. Like Kuwaiti citizens do not work because the oil is nationalized and people get money. The Kuwaiti citizens don't have to work.
But how is that the government owning the means of production?
Well, it's called nationalization of
and it's resources. The government controlling the means of production.
Yeah. Well,
that's communism.
We would get no. Communism is different. That's like
communism means the government owns the means of production.
Most people don't. Most people, including me, do not really know what communism entails because we've never lived in that system. All we know of is that communism failed in Russia. Communism didn't fail in Russia. It never existed in Russia.
No, it's an oligarchy.
Yeah, always has been. Speaking of oligarchs,
so I guess it comes down to pick your poison. Do you want the government controlling your wealth or lack thereof, or do you want a corporation controlling your wealth?
Imagine if gas prices just didn't matter, because it's our gas anyway, and they need us to get gas to make them richer. But I don't know. Anyway, there has never been a true communist country. I don't think. Maybe Cuba, and they did fine without anybody interfering with them. It seemed like, it was rough for a while. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm not arguing.
I don't know shit about communism.
I'm not arguing the merits one way or the other. It's just that it's a big, scary word that the Republicans like to throw
It's a
around.
red scare, one might say. But am I a nationalist? Like, no. This guy. If you remember this guy.
To borrow a phrase from a friend of mine, our secret sauce here, it's these young white men.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but he's got just a little bit of drool running down his face when he says that.
This guy is a nationalist. This guy is a psychopath.
This guy's a closet case.
It's really funny to listen to him, say this.
To borrow a phrase from a friend of mine, our secret sauce here, it's these young white men.
It's funny to play and listen to, but then you realize this guy runs America One Pack, which is kind of a deal. So that's what he has to say. Let's hear what you got to say, Mr. Fuentes.
You got to recognize the fact that this is a godless country. I hate it.
It is a godless.
All right,
country.
I recognize it. Thank you. You can go now. Take your God out the side door, please. But
it's immoral. It's wrong. It's heinous. It's evil. But this is an evil country. And this country will surprise you with how evil it is. And that's why you got to get this out of your head that there is some silent majority cavalry that's going to come out of the woods and save us at the last minute. It's not.
Yeah, y'all.
When we meet the left on the battlefield,
silent nor majority. A little more silent, please. Thank you very much.
He's also this.
Us at the last minute. It's not. When we meet the left on the battlefield and they outnumber.
Dude,
what with all these?
Why would we meet you on the battlefield?
Yeah.
We'd be like, yeah, we'll meet you. We'll battle over here, and then go over there. We just won't show up.
You know what? It's a dance off, and then people like him show up and they have no rhythm, and that's it.
I'm sorry, you wanted to battle at 7? Why didn't you text me, man? I'm sorry, I missed the big battle. Did you? My FOMO is going off. But this
for us, like 5-1, that's it.
Hey, I showed up.
The point is, when you look at
this
these things like
abortion,
it's popular. People like abortion, hate it, but it's true. And you can thank the Jewish media for that.
Oh,
abortion's popular. Sodomy's popular. Being gay is popular.
So this is
being
one
a
of those
feminist
things.
is popular. Sex out of wedlock is popular. Contraceptives are. It's all popular. That's all. That's not to say it's good. That's not to say
Wait, play that again. Play that all again. That whole thing.
Thank the Jewish media for that. Abortion's popular. Sodomy's popular. Being gay is popular.
Yeah.
Being a feminist is popular. Sex out of wedlock is popular. Contraceptives are it's all popular. That's all. That's not to say it's good. That's not to say I like that.
So he makes a list of things that he thinks are bad, and he sees them as all connected.
I like how he has to point out that he says he doesn't like those things.
Sodomy, feminism, homosexuality, all of those things are bad, and they're all kind of connected. They're all the same. Oh, and the Jewish media.
Right. Yeah.
Popular means the people support it, which they do. And it sucks, and it is what it is. But that's why we need dictatorship.
He says "suck" and "dick" in the same.
That's unironically why we need to get rid of all that. We need to take control of the media or take control of the government and force the people to believe what we believe, or force them to play by our rules.
Dude, it doesn't sound like you have any fucking rules, bro. It's rules just went right out the window. So am I a nationalist? Fuck
so
no,
I'm not a nationalist. Is he speaking as someone else, or is he saying that we need need to be?
This guy speaks.
Tyrants. Is that what he's saying, or is he speaking?
Sounded like it to me. He said
he speaking as the people that he thinks are tyrants.
He said we need a dictatorship.
But he's not doing that thing well where he's saying, "Oh, well, the liberals say we need a dictatorship." So
no, remember they already said that we want to be these liberal elite dictators. And then this guy fucking on his own podcast. It's awesome. It's great. He dig on a podcast. Great. Look it up.
So was he intentionally
look up Nick Fuentes Booger Eater? No, you don't have to. I mean, I can look it up.
Hey, next segment. Let's show it. Nick Fuentes Booger Eater.
So
okay, so the snow crabs have either gone off the continental shelf or they've entered another dimension.
Yeah, so I was looking at this thing because we're crabbing folk. We're veteran crabbers. So
it's being taken away from us, by the way.
I read an article. It was like, because we've been getting a lot of the same stuff. Anyway, crab season was postponed for us. Dungeness. But I guess for the second year in a row, they canceled snow crab. So if you like snow crab, I looked at it and I was like, 1.1 billion snow crab have gone missing. Maybe they walked off the ship. They're looking for colder water. They don't really know where they were. And I thought 1.1 billion, that's a lot, until I realized there was no point. It was 11 billion snow crab just said, peace. They don't know where they are.
How do they know there were 11 billion to begin with?
Because they know. I don't know how NOAA does its thing. I'm not a research scientist.
Did it go from 11 billion to 5 billion to 2 billion?
Well, they said there was a crater a while back, but they had counts of 11 billion snow crab, and then they're just gone. They think they probably just either they walked off the continental shelf, in which case they're dead.
Was there any reduction? Did they track any reduction?
Oh yeah, before that, there's 2 craters. Like one happened in 1989 or something like that, where there's a massive crater. So 90% of the snow crab disappeared like 30 years ago. And so, and then they're kind of resilient, but then 90% of them disappeared again. And so I don't know. It's just
Did they
I looked it up.
reproduce? Their populations increased. They reproduced and made more babies.
No, they
snow
didn't
crab.
make back what they had lost.
So they just disappear, and we have no idea where they are.
Not
so
yet.
that happened
Yeah,
back in
there's a-
'89, and there was another purge.
There was a die-off or something, but yeah, I don't know what's going on, but that's what's going on. Snow crab just said, like, we're out of here. I don't know what to do about that. Also, mussels. I was gonna pick mussels. Because I can do that. And so I was gonna pick mussels, but they have a quarantine usually for like filter feeder like
Mhm.
that. And you don't want to go like there, believe it or not, there's only like a couple of beaches where you really want to go and pick mussels because a lot of them have sloughs, which probably contain a lot of farm runoff and just crap. I was like, wait a minute, because we just had a rain, and that you don't want to pick mussels right after rain. And so I was like, all the fires, the whole country, hillsides leading down in all that leading down into the ocean through those sloughs and the runoff channels. They're all full of like charcoal. I was like, is the water clean? Like, has anybody? I went down a rabbit hole. But yeah, there's a direct correlation. They can see impacts on other species like halibut, eat crab, cod eat crab, otters eat crab, seals, lots of creatures eat crab, so they can see an effect on as it goes up the food chain. So
Right.
yeah, and also if the crab fishermen are like, there's no crab to fish, so it's like that's pretty interesting.
Well,
And mystery to be solved too.
They keep kicking back the Dungeness season.
Yeah.
So we were all prepped to go
That's
November
twice
5th,
now they've kicked it back.
and then they kicked it to November 15th.
Mhm.
And I didn't even know about that one. We would have just shown up on November 5th, fat, dumb, and happy, if I hadn't had this news article, because my phone listens to me talking about
Because we
crabbing
got
all
all
the-
that dope new gear.
No, it's because
We got new
I'm
gear.
going, God damn it, I got
Shout-
crabs. How do I get rid of
Shout
crabs?
out to Rick Silva gave us a crab ring.
Did you hear what I just said?
No, what? Sorry.
I said the reason why that story popped up on my phone is
Oh.
because I was saying, oh shit, I've got crabs. How do I get rid of crabs?
that
Then
leads-
bing! Dungeness crab season has been postponed.
That's been happening a lot lately. I was at, like I was telling you about the rubber duck situation. That was weird. But then like talking about things like, oh, on the way back, Oscar Julia Valley gets a phone call. And it's from like jacuzzi remodelers. Well, on the way up, there's a jacuzzi store with the name of the jacuzzi family. And I was like, oh, look, that's jacuzzi. And then her phone rang and it was this jacuzzi remodeling. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty scary.
yeah, well,
The AI is faster than
I love it.
the
I don't mind.
natural eye.
I like to fuck with it. I fool with it.
Well, so it told us that crab season had been postponed, and the article that I saw said, well, initially it's postponed till November 15th, but
Mhm.
apparently it's now been postponed to December.
It's because we got the
1st.
gear.
Yeah, it's because we got the gear. We need to start tossing our gear.
Oh man. Oh, and yesterday there was a time. Okay, so that leads to like last night. So last night I was like, my watch wasn't charged and I didn't get any steps in. And everybody knows, look, if you are exercising and you don't have your iWatch or your phone on you, it doesn't count in the real world, right? So I was like, shit. So I walked like 4 miles last night. I walked all the way down to the lighthouse and I was walking back, just checking out like what it looked like. And the tide was so far out that you might have gotten into waist deep water, but I think you could have walked all the way from Mitchell's around Lighthouse Point and all the way to Cowles without having to swim.
I have dreams about stuff like that. Just walking out into the ocean, into the fog, and it just
Turning into a little mermaid.
Well, it never gets deeper. It's like I can go way, way out. It lives way at the bottom of the ocean. It's just all there with me. It's very cool.
And it's always the kiddie pool for Miss Parker in more ways than one. We'll be back in a moment. I'm with what? Oh, Jay's movie picks.
Oh yeah.
Do you guys want to try
Yeah.
to guess? You want to try to
Yeah,
guess?
yeah.
You know what it is, though.
I know what it is, but
But I
this is one of those
we'll get back
times
into that in a
when
minute. I'll show you guys.
when the joke just goes over and over and over again, and that's totally my thing. Just repeating jokes.
I've been doing this thing where I've been watching a bunch of old movies in case we have talked about it before, and we're gonna do that too. Like we came across like the
Oh.
House, the movie House.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna watch some movies at some point that,
Oh, okay.
that we can talk about.
Okay.
We're gonna do like I was thinking about doing like a thing where we talk about a movie for like a half an hour.
All right.
Seems like it'd be fun.
Yeah.
Because I got some lunatic movies in my mind, and I've been showing them to Dr. Z, and she's been like, "What the fuck is this?" So we'll be back with Jay's movie picks and
All
then
right.
Miss Parker reacts. I am Jay.
I am your Miss Parker.
This is Nothing Yet Live. See, didn't wait.
Oh,
I'm not waiting anymore.
yeah, I know. You can't trust me.
Nope.